this is Will from Say How You Feel, and welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Before we get started, please like, share, subscribe, and show some love. But this is what we're going to talk about today. You know from the title, we're talking about starting a t-shirt company, a t-shirt brand. Okay, so after this message, we're going to go ahead and get into it. And when we get at the end of the video, stay tuned to the end of the video, and I'll tell you my favorite method to start a t-shirt brand. Be right back. We're back. Once again, we're back. So, what do I think the best way, and again, this is just my opinion, this is just my thought process. What do I think the best way to start a t-shirt brand is? Well, that all depends on your designs. If you're going to go with a single color design, if you're going to go with a multicolor design, if it's one color, two color, three colors, it all depends on your design. And the reason why I say that is, if your method is one color, you can start off with something as simple as vinyl. And the reason I say that vinyl is a great product, and it will allow you to start your product, your brand off in a way that you can just sample and see whether people are feeling it, whether people are liking it. And then if it takes off, then you can go ahead and order something as simple as a single print, single color screen print and transfer. You know, because you don't want to have to cut all that vinyl out, and you can actually lower your costs, or you can adjust your margins a little better with the screen printing transfers. So I say that is the first thing you have to figure out. What is it that you decide you want to do with your t-shirt brand or your clothing brand? You know, because you can do pants, you can do sweatshirts, you can do whatever. The next thing you have to figure out, once you figure out which way you're going to do it, that's all going to determine what tools that you're going to need. Because the tools you need are based off of how you're going to do it. So let's say you don't want to cut out vinyl. You don't want to weed and all of that stuff. Then there's no reason about a vinyl cutter. You can just start off with a heat transfer, a heat press, or something similar to that. You know, you can either do the heat press method, or you can, you know, if you want to do one color, you can order a one color screen press. Still may need a heat press, in my opinion, just to set the ink in a little better. But at the end of the day, you can go that route and still screen print it yourself, or get your flash dryer if you want to do it that route. There are benefits and pros and cons to both. If you go with the heat press, it's less headache, less mess, less footprint, because you got that one machine, and you can order. You can actually order vinyl. You can go to somebody who's smaller, or excuse me, you can go to somebody smaller. You can go to somebody who is who does more direct work, someone closer to you. I'm like, hey, you know, just can you cut me out a couple of sheets of vinyl? Cut me out a sheet of vinyl. This is the design. Can I have 3 designs? I have my own heat press. You know, you can do that, or you can do. You can just order the flat foot, order the screen for the transfers. But if you decide you want to do the labor-intensive work, the screen press overall cost is a lot cheaper, in the sense that, you know, when you get to talking about printing ink costs, it's cheaper. It's a little more upfront. Well, I won't say that, because if you get a screen press, a single color screen press, you can probably get for a couple of $100. About the same amount you would get for a heat press. or you can get a really high-end heat press for $2,000, and you can spend just about as much on on buying a press and a flash drive. And as far as the screens, you can run them yourself, or you might be able to find your local screen printer who'll burn screens for you. So you can just, pay him anywhere from between $35 and $50, and he'll burn the screen for you, and you're done with it. So you can bypass that part of the mess on the screen printing side, but you still have to deal with, the inks and all of that type of stuff. So if you don't mind dealing with that, then you're okay. The other method is, you can get, you can do inkjet transfers. You can do sublimation. Inkjet transfer sublimation is similar, both using an ink. One uses a gas ink, the other uses a pigment ink. So based off of that, you can just, but they both have their valid points and they unvalid. Like, you can pretty much use inkjet transfers across the board. I don't know if you would really use it on a polyester shirt, but you can definitely use them on cotton, 50-50 blends, tri-blends, things like that. The drawback is it will bleed at least once, and that's fine. Depending on, I don't know if I would use that for a flat out brand. It has its purpose, but sublimation also has a great feel. It's a dye, and it kind of it sits inside the fabric, so it's pretty much never going to come out. The only drawback to sublimation is finding a good polyester shirt, because the only thing it's going to adhere to is polyester. You can use it on a 50-50 blend, but the more polyester you have, the better the hold and the brighter the shirt becomes. The problem with that is that you deal with the fact that this shirt I have on is a polyester shirt, and it feels good, and it sits well. So finding a polyester shirt, but it's red. So the other thing about polyester sublimation is you need the brighter. You want it bright, so you need it on a white garment. Well, I'm not going to walk around in a white hoodie with a design on it, depending on the design. But just be realistic, because of the fact it's white, you're pretty much just going to attract dirt to it. So unless you're going to get it all over, it's kind of like, I don't want to get that because then it gets stained. So, it's just, issues, unnecessary issues. But it looks good the first time you wear it, the first couple of times. So the hoodie might get messed up, but I can't do darker shirts. I can't do darker garments unless I go with, like, I put an all black image on here because it'll sit and the black will stand out. So you have to look at all of that. How do you want your design to look? If I'm doing sublimation, you're thinking I can do a multicolored design, yada, 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 and I'm good. But that's not always the case. So that's a factor you have to look at. The next thing you could do is what they have the new process that's really, well, I won't say it's new, but it is emerging now that you can do it at home. That part is new. That is DTF, or direct to film. That's an option to do your garments. You can do it on polyester, you can do it on cotton, you can do it pretty much on anything. I love it and I hate it. The reason is because doing it at home, unless you got a big machine, can be a headache. The extra work it takes to maintenance the printer can be a headache. It just depends on who you are and how much time you want to spend on it. I have a DTF printer. I'm not necessarily a fan of it, only because it prints slower than I like, and because it prints slower than I like, I'm dealing with an issue of having to, what's the word I'm looking for? Having to wait for the print to come out and hoping that it comes out properly the first time. So that's an issue. If I print on something, if I print it out, it may take 20 minutes, 30 minutes for the print, that one sheet to come out. Well, I don't want to sit there for 30 minutes, because you kind of got to watch it until it really, really gets going. And then even that can be, it is what it is. So that's always an but it's an option. Me personally, I like to order my transfers. I don't overthink it. I send somebody to design, let them deal with the headache, let them deal. I don't really care how, as long as it comes out right. I don't care if they either got their settings dialed in right, or if it's as long as they send me my transfers, I'm okay. The other option I would say is, just be honest, DTG. You can start it with a direct garment. Again, you would have to probably contract it out unless you have an extra $30,000 just lying around. If you don't have an extra $30,000 lying around, then you have to do what you have to do. I'm not mad at it. I'm just being honest about it. I don't think it's a bad option. I think it's an option that is definitely valuable. I think it's an option that is something you should look into. I think if you decide to do that option, have the space, have the ability, and be ready to figure out what you're going to do. Here's the thing about that option. That particular option requires you to spend $30,000, $20-something to $30,000. Let's just be honest. So here's the thing. If you're only doing your designs, unless you have a following, I would not recommend spending that kind of money, because otherwise you're going to end up being with that option, and I'll say the DTF option. If you're going to go with a big printer, if you're going to go with any size printer, because you want to print, you want to print consistently. So unless you have a strong following, you'll find yourself printing for other people more than you're actually printing for yourself. And if you don't mind, then that's fine. But that's a whole different thing. So, to be honest, you have to, so for me, it's more of a situation you figure out which method you want to go with, and you figure out whether you want to do it yourself or you want to contract it out. And that's the beginning and the end. Which one is better for you? So, at this point, I will tell you which one I like to do. I do a little bit of both. I do both. For my prints, if I want a hard copy print, say if I'm printing something for myself or someone else and I want to do it in DTF, I'll contract it out. Screen printing transfers, I have a 4-color screen press. I've said it before on this channel, but I prefer just to get transfers a lot of times, so a lot of times I'll order the transfers from somebody else because I don't feel like being bothered with the mess. I just want to go ahead and press and roll. I don't have to overthink it. So I am an advocate of, if you're starting a brand and you're more of a marketing person, I would go the route of contracting it out more than I would pressing it up. If you're even split, like you can do either one, or you're more of the person who wants to do the labor side, I would get some equipment. I would invest in, at least, if nothing else, a very high quality heat press. One that'll last, one that's durable, one that's ready, a workhorse. Because you can, like I said, you can order transfers from someone else. You don't have to worry about that aspect. If you have clients, you tell them, hey, this is the lead time I need. Go ahead and ABCD. And one of the attractive things you can offer is the ability to just order what they need versus you got to order 40 or 50 shirts and they only need 10. You see what I'm saying? So you have to figure that part out. So me personally, I choose to do, it's a combination of both. So with that being said, you guys have a great day. Be blessed. Please like, share, and subscribe. And when it's all said and done, keep saying how you feel. Be at peace.